What's up, dude?
Hanging out. What about you?
About the same, man. How's your? I like your home office, by the way.
This isn't my home office. I know it looks like a home, but I'm actually at an office
Oh, really?
right around the corner from my house, and it's just decorated. But
That's
anyways, I
cool.
this is actually none of my stuff behind me.
Where's your office now? Because I know you were at Galleria Center, right?
So I'm at an office complex just right up in Smyrna. Like I can walk from my house in Smyrna only it's like 2 blocks up the road.
Really? What street is it on?
It's on the corner of Lee and Concord. Like
Oh,
pretty much those
okay.
that office park that's kind of like right across from the Methodist church on Concord. Like kind of by Sharky's, the
Okay.
swim academy.
Is that okay? I'm trying to think exactly where that's at.
There's a Cry-like real estate
Oh, okay.
office.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I knew there was a real estate office right there. Okay.
So the buildings right next to that, it's like a little office park. Um, anyways,
Are you renting the space out yourself, or is your whole group in that office?
whole group.
Oh, cool. Nice, man. I gotta I have that space at the Keller Williams office for now, but I gotta work on getting a bigger space, I think.
Mindy and Melanie, they have one down there by the Little League fields. You know that office complex right there by the Little League fields, those brick buildings?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're in there, and
Is there anything else
it's actually,
available in there?
yeah, there is, and it's decently priced. We can
Uh,
talk about that offline, but
okay, very cool. Yeah, to look into that. Awesome. Well, thanks again, man. Thanks for
yeah,
taking
buddy.
30 minutes to talk with us. Maybe we'll get some folks hopping on to answer some questions. I'll tell you for myself, I am definitely seeing sort of the market slowing down a little bit now. I mean, I know we've talked about it, but I'm seeing where in the last couple years, like buyers didn't really have a chance to even slow down and think about purchase or contract or anything like that. I'm seeing like on the listing side, I'm seeing less showings on listings,
Hmm.
um, seeing less offers on listings, and I'm seeing buyers really like take their time a little bit more with the contract process and with the due diligence process. Um, where I
Do you
think,
like that?
I mean, it's good it's good when I'm on the buyer side for sure. When I'm helping a buyer out, I really like that I can tell my buyers like, okay, you don't have to completely give up your appraisal contingency. Um, some still do on some, but not
Yeah,
all the time. And you don't have to give up your due diligence. You can take 5 or 7 days due diligence, that kind of thing. I like it then, but when I'm on the listing side, it kind of makes me nervous a little bit once
hmm
we get under contract, because I'm definitely seeing like, you know, buyers are taking their time a little bit more and being more thorough than they were, which is good for them for sure. But with there being more listings available, um, once we're under contract, that doesn't mean they're necessarily going to stay with us. With more
Yeah,
listings
exactly.
coming up, there's always like some concern that, oh, wait, now that more inventory is coming up, maybe they'll jump ship and go somewhere else,
Yeah.
which happened in years before. In the last couple of years, that hasn't been the case, but in years before, that definitely was the case where, you know, somebody would get under contract and then just change their mind because something else came on the market, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and I've been through that as well.
Yeah.
And it's even frustrating on my side because let's say we get the appraisal ordered and appraisal's back, and we have it through underwriting. Oh, by the way, we're terminating, going to another property.
Hmm.
We have to start in the mortgage world. We have to start a whole new file. So it doesn't like we can't just like change the address in the
Hmm.
file to the new address like that is now then null and void, right? We have to get rid of that file, start a new file, and it's actually a new lock. Like we can't transfer a lock from property to property. So let's say they were locked in at 3% on property 123 Main Street. but then they terminated that and they went to 567 Main Street. That 3% rate doesn't go over to the new property. We have to lock it market rate. And so
they could
which is
lose. They could
they
lose.
can lose. They can, yeah,
Okay.
because the lock follows the address.
Do you warn? I mean, do you always have the opportunity to warn somebody about that before they decide to switch?
It is, but the thing is, like, you got to think like the past 2.5 years, or let's say 2020 and 2021, that wasn't an issue, right? Because
There wasn't anything else available.
right, but 18, 19, that was, we did see that, but the rates weren't moving daily like they are now, right?
Mhm.
Because like, we're having just these huge swings. Even last week, we had just huge swings in rate. And even today, bond market's, improving. And so interest rates came down. So like,
Mhm.
today we're in let's just say for a layup deal, we're in the high fives. Well, that same deal last week was 6.25.
Mhm.
Even yesterday was 6 1/8 to six and a
Yeah.
quarter. And today it's 5.875, let's say, on a layup deal.
So so rates were not changing like that back 18, 19?
Not as drastic as what we've seen. I mean, you're talking about the most volatile market we've seen, even in the stock market. Just some of
Mhm.
the huge swings in the stock market.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I
That's
mean, we're losing, 500-600 points a day, and then the next day up 500-600 points a day.
yeah,
I mean, that's crazy.
it is. Yeah.
Oil, I mean, oil's down today. I think there's just so much recession fears that
Mhm.
everybody's just kind of putting the brakes on. So whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think there is a lot of fear of that out there right now. I mean, as far as I can tell with the housing market, though, even though we are having, we're seeing more listings coming up, homes sitting on the market a bit longer. I mean, we're not talking about like weeks and weeks, but average days on market is creeping up into like the week territory. And we're seeing more expired listings, but for the most part, still in a very strong seller's market. I was going to pull this thing up too, though I
I can't
can't.
wait. I can't wait for the June numbers to come out to see what the inventory levels
I know.
are at.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We went over that before. I went
It
over
was
the
at
May numbers.
1.3.
Yeah, went over those before, and what's interesting, and what we may want to do this time is wait like a week into June, but because of like the closings and everything, like it doesn't really affect inventory that much, but because of closings and pending sales that haven't been recorded yet, some of that still lags like a
Got it.
few days or like a week into June, so we may want to wait a little bit, but. Got a couple people watching, so I'm going to go over some of these numbers real quick, though I can't share my screen for some reason right now. But this is the last 7 days. What's interesting about this is the number of price decreases over the last 7 days. So there were almost 3,000 new listings, 2,928 new listings over the last 7 days. But there were also 1,741 price decreases, which is a big number considering how few listings are on the market. How many of those did take price decreases? Expired listings, 122. I mean, that's it's a lot. It's not like a huge number, but we, for the first time in a long time since I've looked at this, are seeing more new listings than closed listings. So only 2,352 listings closed in the last 7 days.
Mm.
And like I said, 2,928 new listings.
When you're
So
talking about the price decreases, does it give you an opportunity to see like what price point the majority of those decreases are in?
not on this market watch thing. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just haven't dug that deep into it. This is just a little market watch snapshot. It's
Hmm.
not the full charts. And on the full charts,
I didn't know if it broke it out to like 500-600, 400-500, whatever it
yeah,
is, all the way, to see like, oh, well, it looks like this price point is getting hit harder than, the 200-300.
happening right now. There you go. I'm back. You're back. Okay. Stupid. But yeah, on that, the market watch charts that I have, I don't know if price decrease is on there, but you can do that. You can break it down by zip code, by neighborhood, by price point, all that stuff. So definitely have to do that at some point. One thing that I wanted to talk about too that happened to me this week, speaking of homes sitting on the market and homes, some homes expiring, some listings sitting on the market, some doing price decreases. I did want to say that it's still, I had something happen to me this week that really does prove that who you list with really does matter. And I'm not saying I think I'm the best real estate agent out there, but some people may disagree, but I think I'm pretty good. But not just talking about my experience and what I do, but finding someone to work with who is a dedicated real estate agent, who is going to work with you rather than just basically putting you into the pool of sellers that they have, like some of the larger companies, some of the discount companies. I have a listing now that we listed on Thursday. We're under contract now. We had multiple offers, got under contract in the first weekend for over list price. That listing had been listed with one of these discount brokers. I'm not going to mention which one. Had been listed previously and was on the market for 45 days with very few showings and no offers. And the sellers contacted me after that time, were not happy with what was going on with it. So within a week, I had my photographer go out and get photos. We relisted it. And like I said, through our marketing and other things, we were able to get it under contract in the first weekend. So that doesn't, like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was just me. I'm not just saying I have some sort of magic power, but it does help to work with an agent who's going to be focused on your listing rather than just throwing it up. Some of these discount brokerages are basically just like for sale by owners. And we know that for sale by owners take longer to sell and sell for less than professionally listed properties. So anyway, just wanted to mention that.
Do you think, so let's say you're the buyer's agent, and I'm not saying you would do this to your clients, but do you think that other buyer's agents, they see that, oh, you know what, this property is listed by XYZ. I don't want to deal with those people. Oh, you know what? I know Tyler is a great real estate agent. I know he's professional. I know he's going to treat our customer correctly and professionally and all that, blah, 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 all the way down. Let's go see Tyler's property. We're not going to go see XYZ's property because I don't like dealing with some call center or somebody who really has no idea about the property, and it's going to be difficult, and we're going to have to deal with I'm going to be working both sides of the transaction because I'm going to be working with XYZ. Do you think real estate agents stay away from those things, and that's why they're on the market longer?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I think that's part of it. Probably. I think, if you're a buyer's agent and your buyer really wants a property, you're going to do what you can to get that property for them. But if you are already going into this thinking, I like this property because I know that this real estate agent over here is going to be easy to work with. I know that they're professional and they know what they're doing. And then you have another one that you're like, man, I don't want to have to work with this. I know this system is going to be really difficult to work with. And then you make the 2 phone calls, and you make the phone call to the agent that or the agent that is a professional agent. They answer the phone, and then you call the other company and nobody answers the phone. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of times is how that happens.
And it just takes forever for everything to get on that discount side. I think it just takes forever on just from the lending side. I know it takes forever to get amendments back, and it just seems like everything just takes a little bit longer. It's not like working with you at KW and another agent in your KW office where it's just like this. Everything's so much quicker and smoother than having to deal with whoever it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's some of those companies, some of the larger ones, like some of the really big ones, when you're communicating with them, sometimes you're not even communicating with anyone here in Georgia,
Right, and then you have a time change. Like, for example, let's just say it, like Open Door, whoever it is, like they're in Arizona,
Mhm.
right? So they're 3 hours behind us, and let's say we needed something like really, really fast. It's really hard to get, right? You're
Mhm.
waiting an extra 3 hours until hopefully they come into the office.
Right. And you're negotiating, and it's not even really negotiating, but if there wasn't any negotiating, you're negotiating with, someone in an office in a cubicle who doesn't know you, doesn't know the buyer, doesn't know the listing. Probably, it definitely has never been to the house before, and they don't really have any vested interest in that. When, on the other hand, if you have an agent like myself or any of the other Keller Williams agents, Berkshire Hathaway, I mean, a lot of these, Engel and
Yeah.
Volker, these people that are really like boots on the ground listing agents. They have a vested interest in that home. They know the home, they know the seller. And it's important to them to get that transaction done properly. So,
I agree 100%.
I mean,
And
yeah.
and let's be real too. You know, you wake up every single day. You have to go. You have to hustle. You're out there, dragging these buyers around from property to property. You also don't want to work for a discount,
Right. Yeah, exactly. I
right?
mean,
Like,
yeah, that's,
why
yeah.
should I cut my commission because it's listed with XYZ online or even a bigger brokerage where they're just buying up inventory or whatever?
Mhm.
Why do you want to go work for 2%?
Right, exactly. I mean, and
I'm not.
and we talked about that before, but yeah, these buyers agents, man, they've been hustling lately. They've been working so hard to get these buyers under contract. Some of them have been working with buyers for over a year. I mean, there are buyers that I've been working with for 2 years. Um,
Yeah.
that, why would you deserve a discount after working that hard?
What?
Anyway, so I just wanted to mention that because
Yeah.
I think it's important. I think that because we've been in this really strong sellers market, um, some sellers feel like, hey, I can just put my home. It doesn't matter who I list it with. I'm just going to put it up on the market and it'll sell. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
And it does matter who you list your home with. And especially with the market changing right now, it really matters because we're going to start seeing a lot more competition on the market. We're getting back to a more balanced market. So it really does matter. You don't want to be that one in your neighborhood that sits there for, 180 days, and has to take 6 price reductions before you sell.
Yeah. That's no fun.
So yeah, definitely Firefox is not the way to go because it keeps wanting me to force quit right now. I don't know what's going on.
Man, why? I guess
I'm
I'm
just
on
gonna go.
Chrome. So
I mean, hopefully this. What? Let's see. It's telling me something. Okay, there was an error. Okay, gotcha. Yes. Okay. All right. Whatever. Sorry. Luckily, nobody was watching during that time.
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. We were a couple weeks ago when we had that. I posted that one video from our state of the market where I was talking about, being a good time, still being a good time to buy, and prices were, home values were going to continue to go up, which is true.
Yeah.
We got I had some comments on there, folks disagreeing with me. And like I said, Dave Ramsey posted almost the exact same thing we were saying. He also had people saying those kind of things. And, I think I heard somebody else say this recently too. I think if you're nervous about it, you're anxious about buying, and you don't feel like now is the right time for you to buy, I don't think you should buy.
Exactly.
If you're nervous about it. But the reason why I preach that to people, and I know you do too, is because we know, and we're in the market, we can tell prices are not going to get better. And so if that's what you're waiting on, if you're waiting thinking, I'm going to wait until prices get better, prices go down, that's just not going to happen. And if you come back and talk to me in 5 years, guaranteed what you could have bought a house for today, you're probably wishing you would have bought a house today, because prices will be a lot higher in 5 years. I have some buyers that I've been talking to for about 3 years now. I say buyers, potential buyers. They've been talking about buying, and still haven't pulled the trigger on it. And if they had bought 3 years ago in 2019, man, I mean, the appreciation they would have seen in the last few years, and the appreciation they'll continue to see over the next, 5 years.
I'm telling you, it's just, I saw something the other day, but it's like, you just have to shift your mindset. It's almost like you have to marry the home and date the rate. Okay. Fall in love with the home, buy it, and just date the rate, because the rate can change down the road. The house can't. And so that price that house is right now, it's not going to get any better, I don't think. So if you like that house, you better marry that house. And you just got to remember, date the rate. Okay, because the rate can change. The rate's going to go down. We know that once they get inflation under control, it's going down. We'll refinance you then. But guess what? You still have the house, and you still have it at that purchase price in 2022, not waiting for home. If you're waiting for home prices to drop, you could be waiting 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. But I mean, I think that, we make that point over and over again, and that's specifically for, that's my advice for first-time home buyers. I mean, if you're not ready, if you're not comfortable with buying, don't buy. If you're not ready to buy, don't buy. But don't decide not to buy because you're waiting for 2008 to happen again. That's not going to happen. It's not, we're not going to see, in a year from now that houses are worth 50% less than they are right now. That's not going to happen. Values are going to continue to go up. You're not saving money by waiting. And I mean, if you are in a position, and I have several, like I said, potential buyers in mind right now, like if you are in a position to buy right now and you haven't bought yet, you really need to think about how much money you're putting into renting right now, and how much equity you would be building, and what your future looks like. I mean, we almost, now think, our home, if you're especially looking at the stock market right now, our home is the best investment we have.
100%.
I
mean, every piece of property I have is the best investment I have. I also pulled everything out of the stock market in December. So whatever.
Did you? Good for you.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm 100% invested in real estate.
Yeah. I mean, until they start building houses on the moon, they can't create more land, so
I'm not buying homes in the metaverse either.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that may be the next thing. That may be the next thing where real estate agents and people are investing in these virtual worlds. But for right now, real estate is the best investment because they're just not making more of it, And if you own a piece of it, that's yours, man. That's your investment. They can't do anything with it. I mean, at some point, like in 2008, at some point the value can go down. Sure. But does it come back up? Yes. Because we're not making any more of it.
And the investors are still buying homes. I have an investor right now. He's doing 4 cash out refis with me on 4 investment properties. He's pulling all the cash out as much as he can to go buy more homes.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
he's
awesome.
He's not doing that just for giggles.
Right.
He's leveraging those homes to go buy more homes.
Right. And he has all these as rental properties.
All rental properties.
Yeah. How many rentals does that guy have?
A lot.
You're
talking. That I know of. I know he has at least 33 investment properties. And the ones that we're doing cash out on are duplexes. So those are 2 units where he's getting double rent. He has 2 units, right? So you know, he got in it at the right time, and he's been leveraging those rental properties to go buy more.
Yeah.
He always has them at 80% loan to value.
That
So
is
he's always leveraging that. He's always borrowing against those properties to go buy more properties.
so
Why not?
he never has more. Wait, explain that to me. Slow down a minute. He never has more than 20% equity in the homes.
He's always pulling cash out
Wow.
because you got to think he's also using that as tax advantages because like he's writing that mortgage interest off on a Schedule E or whoever does, his CPA is leveraging those properties because he's writing off all the maintenance, the HOA, the property taxes, the mortgage interest, all the deductions he can take. And so he is, he is doing it right. But he doesn't use anybody else's money besides his property's money.
Right.
Because he is banking on appreciation, right? So this past year, the past couple of years, he's been able to borrow against these homes because so much appreciation's in there to go buy more properties.
Yeah. And that's the Burr method, right?
Yeah, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah. It's buy, rehab, refinance, rent, repeat. It's like for art. We could do a whole, I mean, I've done videos on that before. We could do a whole episode just on the Burr method and how that works.
Yeah, we need to find somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've got a couple. I mean, we could talk to your guy. Would he get on the show with us?
For sure.
And talk about
maybe. I'll talk to him about it for sure.
Yeah. We could do that, or I think Andy might jump on with us to talk about like Airbnb. I wonder. We should talk to him anyway about how this whole Airbnb thing is going with
Seriously,
the new
I just saw a post about that new Fulton County.
Mm-hmm.
That they're taxing at 8%. Fulton County's taxing at 8%. It's like you have to have a permit. You're paying for a permit every year through Fulton County. You can have two, and one of them has to be your primary.
Man.
So we definitely need to get Andy on sooner than later, just so he can figure it out.
Yeah, talk to us about it. Those hotel lobbyists really got that under control, didn't they?
Some, I mean, Marriott or somebody's hurting because they, which I get it. I mean, there's somebody across the street from me. They have an Airbnb. They converted a one-car detached one-car garage into this very nice, like 1-bedroom, 1-bath little Airbnb, and they do great. It pays their mortgage. Man,
yeah, that is great. I mean, that's it's funny. This is like a flip flop, and we're almost done here. But it's really a flip from several years ago. Remember that they changed. There was some new law written place in Fulton County. It might have been Atlanta, anyway, that said that anyone could build a second unit on their lot. There was some new legislation, and a lot of people were, a lot of people at that time, a lot of my buyers were buying with the intention of doing that. If it had another structure on it, or if there was at least room to build like a tiny house in the back. So it's funny that the city went from promoting, what did they call them? There was an acronym for it.
I think isn't it ADU, right?
Oh yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So they went from promoting that so that you could have Airbnb space to now saying, whoa. We don't, we said you could have one, we said you could have two. That's it.
Well, yeah. So these people like our buddy Andy, who has multiple, I don't know what he's going to do. We need to call him and just,
I need to talk to him and find out what's going on with that. Well, now we have two eyes on here right now. I wonder who this is. It doesn't show me who it is, but whoever it is, thanks for joining us and hanging out. We've got just a couple minutes left. These videos every week, I have it edited down to about a 13 to 14 minute thing because the guy takes out all the fluff, all the ums and ahs and everything. So it ends up being about 13 to 14 minutes. But this week's episode was a special Wednesday edition because we're not going to be available tomorrow. to do it. But next week we'll be back, and beginning of the week I'll post what the topic is. I don't know. What do you want to? Maybe we could talk about the Burr method next week: buying, renting, refinancing, buy, rehab, refinance, rent, repeat.
Yeah, I got somebody else in mind too that might jump on with us as well. The guy I was telling you about when we were at that beer fest, the guy who does a lot of wholesaling, who has
Oh, okay.
investors
I
as
thought
well.
you were
So like
just talking about the same guy. Okay, that's a
no,
different.
this is a different guy.
Okay.
But this guy, he just does a lot of wholesaling, meaning he's getting them off market and he's selling them back to whoever's taking them right now, or he's fixing them up and putting them on the market. But he's a wealth of knowledge on his platform on how he finds the wholesale deals without.
Yeah, I'd
I'm
like to hear
educated
about that.
on
I'd like
that
to hear
because like
about that. Yeah.
he kills it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cold calling involved in that world, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I don't think
But
he's cold calling.
he's
I think
hiring.
he has dialers.
Yeah. Yeah. He has ISAs working for him. Yeah. Cool, man. Well,
Yeah, buddy.
that's it. And I'll see you next week. So thanks for hanging out.
You guys travel safe, okay?
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you
All right,
soon.
man.
Bye.
See you.